Thanks for doing this with me. Appreciate you being here. So just tell us about you, man. Where did you grow up? What got you interested in art itself?
Well, I'm Anthony Benjamin. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I've been tattooing for 14 years. I grew up back and forth in Tampa area, from the Sulphur Springs area at my grandmother's house to my mom's house that's in Palm River. Back and forth there, you know. It's a very tough side. Both sides are very tough sides of Tampa. Growing up in like the urban area of like Sulphur Springs and Palm River area, like hip hop was the thing, you know. And you think about hip hop at that time in the 2000s, early 2000s, was Eminem, 50 Cent, all them, and seeing all their tattoos that Mr. Cartoon did on them, you know, like popped out. He just had. It just looked so cool to me, and I was like, wow, that's crazy how somebody can actually put that on skin. How I got into tattooing, of course, I started drawing and stuff. My brother came home with this big tattoo on his arm at like the age of like 15, 16, and it was like a naked lady with, you know, like smile now, cry later faces with like blunt smoking out of his mouth and stuff like that. My mom hated it, of course, because he was so young and got this big piece on him, came home with it. But I was like so intrigued by it. I didn't even care about like what it was. I just thought it was so cool, and it came out so great, you know. And I was like, to this day, it still looks great, you know. And so I was just like, how did somebody do that? And so I just became obsessed with it after that, basically. And yeah, from there, I think I turned 17, and it was my birthday, and I told my mom, I told my friends, all I wanted was a tattoo machine, basically. And then I got tattooed, and that person actually told me where I can get a tattoo machine at, which is, you know, a little sketch, but, you know, yeah, I got one. And then from there, I just started practicing on oranges, grapefruits, my friends. And then after that, you know, I started getting the hang of things, like by myself. I was tattooing out of a shed that was like 8 by 8, you know, out in like it was a shed and then outside. Legit, I had people from like school waiting outside to get tattooed, and my mom had no clue what was going on. You know, she just saw people outside of our shed. She was like, oh, he's hanging out with his friends, but I'm in there like tattooing people and stuff, you know. And then after that, like I was like, I have to start getting, you know, money, like real money off of this, because I was only charging like $20 a pop or whatever you had. I just wanted to practice, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, from there, there was a flea market that everybody got tattooed by or from, you know, and after that, I went there, showed them like some of the tattoos I did, some of the drawings that I did, and they're like, yeah, just come in, we'll get started. And I didn't really they didn't say we're gonna give you an apprenticeship or anything. They just basically wanted me to work. But the guys there really helped me out though. Like when I first started, I had like nothing. I had like 2 machines probably, a fucking handful of needles and tubes, you know, barely any ink. The guys were always handing me, you know, things that get me better, or telling me how to shade better, all those. And so I'm very, very grateful for those guys. Shout out to them, by the way. Jonathan Suascoon and all them Venezuelan dudes. barely spoke any English, but taught me everything basically that I know now, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't say I have a style. I like to dabble in everything basically. So like, I wouldn't say I have like a specific style. I think I'm probably still working on it. But right now I love black and gray, realism. I love lettering. I've always been a letterhead, so like I love lettering. Throw me anything with lettering, I'll do it. You know, but you know, I've been in. I think I have like little strides here and there where I'll start doing traditional. Be focused on traditional, or I'll be focused on Japanese or something like that. So like I love to dabble in everything. So I don't say I have like a specific style, but I just love the whole tattooing, you know, art form. You know, it's just,
Do you feel like having being a more well-rounded artist makes you a little bit more competitive in the modern tattoo industry?
oh yeah. I try to, you know, if I see something that actually like catches my eye, and that will motivate me to draw and try to do it, I'll start like drawing. And so it makes me competitive where I want to be better at that typical thing, you know. Like I saw, you know, one of the guys here that works here, his name is Chopper. He just did this big mural on this floor of a dragon, Japanese dragon, and that made me like want to start doing Japanese and try to do that like style a little bit so I can get better at that style, because I don't think I'm that great at Japanese right now. So yeah, it's a kind of competitive thing, but it's also like
Drawing inspiration
a motivational
from
thing,
the
you know.
other artists
Yeah,
around
for
you.
sure. It's not like I'm trying to be better than him, but it's like I want to know how he did that, and how, you know, how, because it's awesome. It's so cool to know how to do that type of stuff, you know. Tattooing to me is everything. Like it's given me everything. It's given me wealth, you know. It's given me wealth not in general as money, but as in, you know, happiness, you know. When you're helping people out with their grieving process, or with, you know, trying to look better, you know, because they have no confidence or something like that, you know, because they either had like a birthmark or a scar or something. And the fact that they're walking out happy and thanking you and saying, I can be confident now. And that's just, you know, like, that's just amazing to me. My family is everything, you know. My wife, my son, who is 7 years old now. I've been married to my wife for 5 years now. It's a blessing. I love it. I love being a dad. I love being a husband. You know, like I've always wanted to be a husband. I don't know. It's crazy. Even when I was out there in the streets, you know what I mean, I was like, I want to do this. You know, I want to have that white picket fence and that, you know, like that house that we own, and, you know, my son, the dog, and all that shit. So I do love being a husband. I do love being a father. Having a kid and getting married, you know, will settle you down a lot, you know. I feel like before I got married and had a kid, I was just running rampant, you know. I had no clue what to do with my life. I was just, you know, kind of just winging it, you know. And, you know, I also lost a couple of my best friends, you know, throughout the same year. That really hit me hard. And that made me want to, you know, just live my life a little bit better, you know, be more healthier.
Is that what drove you to move into the more? That's really when you started mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. When the death of my best friends happened, I kind of just like dove straight into martial arts because I needed something else. You know, like my wife was I don't know what would have happened if my wife wasn't there before all this stuff happened, you know. I told him I wasn't gonna do this.
You're gonna make me fucking cry.
My wife was a tremendous support. My son even was a tremendous support without him even knowing, you know. So yeah, just it's tough, and for all the people that are listening to this or whatever, there's a way out. It's not gonna stay like this, you know. Just find a purpose, you know. That's it, you know. And I feel like tattooing is my purpose, and being a father is my purpose. Being a husband is my purpose, you know. Being a mixed martial artist is my purpose, you know. There's so many different things, you know, you can do. You don't have to just be one thing, you know. You can be multiple things. But yeah.
So for someone who's watching and considering maybe dabbling into tattooing, starting out, what would be your advice?
Get tattooed. Get tattooed by people that you actually look up to and the style that you want to pursue. And if you want to just tattoo, you know, in general, you know, you don't have to be a specific style, you know, like, but just get tattooed by people that you look up to for sure. And draw as much as possible. Be humble. You know, a lot of guys think that just because you've been tattooing for a few years or however long, that they can look at the little guy that just started out and not learn anything from. There's been multiple times where I've had a dude that just started out a year or something that has taught me something, you know what I mean? So that's where you have to be humble and say, wow, I didn't even know that you can do something like that. That's cool. How do you do that? You know, ask questions as much as possible. Don't be scared to, you know, like reach out other artists and, you know, like touch other, you know, designs or whatever, you know. Like there's so many different types of art out there that you can actually get inspiration from, you know. So just, you know, just try your best to be humble and, you know, be respectful. Always be respectful, you know. This industry is all about respect and all about, you know, just, you know, being humble, you know. That's it.